Hi guys, today I wanted to take the time and show you my Android setup for 2015, how I use my system and the apps I have installed. So let's just start with it right away. The first thing that has to be shown is the lock screen. I don't use the default lock screen, but I use AC display, and I already reviewed that one quite a while ago. The two main reasons why I use it, or maybe three: I have double tap to sleep, which is quite nice, but way more important for me is this option. As you can see, the customizable timeout. I have it set to 4 seconds, and this is great because if I sometimes just want to know how late it is, it will shut off after just 4 seconds and I don't have to bother about it. And the last thing that is important for me is it handles notifications way better than the stock lock screen. I can't really show this off since I don't have one, or let me quickly do it. Let's make a screenshot, and now you can see you will get, okay, I disabled it actually, so, oh no, here it is. And here you see the way it handles it. You just drag and then you swipe up or swipe down to dismiss it. This is just great. And the second thing, as you can already see here, my home screen, I'm using Nova Launcher for many different reasons. The first one is I have icon support, which is quite nice. I have an editable grip, a customizable one, which is really nice. But also one thing I really like so much, I have gestures. As you can see here in the settings, you have gestures. And for example, I have two fingers swipe down to get to my clock. I have double tap for sleep. This is the option I have set it to. And I also have set swipe up for my browser. And all these options are really nice and handy. But also one thing I like so much is I have every icon here on the home screen with a secondary swipe option. For example, here I have my settings. If I swipe up, I get into GSM, which is my battery app. Then I also have, for example, here on Phoenix. And the secondary option would be YouTube. So these are all options I like, and everyone has one. I don't have a first screen. This is my first screen, and the one to the right is just my calendar with Google Keep, quickly access. And on the bottom at the dock I have GMD gesture control, which I wouldn't even use because I have a gesture for that with just a free finger swipe. Then there's also, quickly here, then there's also a TV app, so I see my TV program, and AC display if I want to exit. On the other side I have brightness level and a few widgets to get the brightness I want to set up directly. Let's get into the apps I use. Okay, here we have them. Here just on the first pane, because I have grids here, as you can see, I have apps, tools, social, media and exposed. And if you start with apps, here I have all the Sony apps I don't use, just so they are tucked away. Same goes for the system apps because I don't really use them. So what apps do I have installed? In the app section I have Adaway for blocking the ads, Adobe Reader for PDFs, Album would be the gallery. Then I have Amazon. Don't really use it much, but still. Browser NB Pro, that would be Naked Browser Pro, my weapon of choice if it comes to a browser. I just love it. It is by far the best browser, at least in my opinion. Not the most beautiful one, but still. If you go into Calc Plus, that would be just a quite simple calculator app, maybe you know it. It has a lot of different themes and it has percentage, so on. It does all I needed to do. Then there's Chrome. Don't have to tell you about that. The one that is here would be Circle Alarm, where I have set up my alarms in I use this one because I have quick access to turn it off, and it shows me all the ones I need at one screen. I just prefer it over the normal one. Clipper is a clipboard management app where I get access to, but I don't have to show you this, to my app. Then we have also downloads. Einstellungen is settings, because I forgot to set it to English, the system, but this would be the settings app. Then we have Google Maps, we have the Play Store, Pocket Casts. I just recently switched to Pocket Casts. Before that I was using Pocket Podcast Addict, but because of the sync option, since I switched my devices recently because of reviews lately, I switched to that one just because of the sync option. That would be the calculator. Here is race calendar for Formula 1, just so I know when which race is going on. Route checker basic, yep, not really special. This would be voice search. Then we have an app that shows me how much the gasoline costs right now in my area. SwiftKey, of course, definitely by far the best keyboard, especially if you type in dual language. So if you have 2 languages at the same time. This is unbeatable, also great. I use actually Super Swift Key, which is a modded version you get on XDA with a lot more themes, with a lot better ones, way better than the ones I actually paid quite a lot of money but don't use anymore, because the one on Super Swift Key are way better. System Monitor is an app I just recently found, and it is really handy because it shows you how fast your battery drains, how long it takes for a full charge and so on. Quite a nice one also. Then we have the clock, Zedge of course for the wallpapers and so on. Let's get into tools. What do we have here? Like I said already, AC display, then Ampere. Ampere is an app that shows you how quickly your device charges, and that is actually quite useful because I recently tested it and noticed that my old cable actually didn't work properly and only charged with 400 milliamps instead of 1 or 1.3 milliamps. So I replaced it, so this is quite useful if you maybe notice your device doesn't charge as fast anymore. Brightness level would be a brightness widget to quickly adjust, customize my brightness. DictCC, dictionary program, if I quickly need to translate a certain word. File commander would be, I think it was the stock file explorer on this ROM, but I'm not completely sure. GMG gestures, that's the one app if you have root you need, because as you can see here I don't have any on-screen buttons, and in combination with Smart Task Launcher that you can see here, these are my 2 gesture apps that allow me to practically access everything without any buttons, and I have quick access to all my apps and everything. GSAM memory, as I showed already, shows me how long my battery is going on and so on and forth. Then NDR utils that is just because for the root, so I can get into recovery. ROM Toolbox is quite a powerful tool, but I only used it to get my fonts in line, so I can change different fonts. That's the one I used. This Smart Connect is a Sony app. Not really even sure what it does actually. Not right now, but I knew it. It is, I think, to set up something like the Moto app where it does set up certain activities on certain actually. Then soft buttons. This is the app I use to get rid of my on-screen buttons, because usually I use an registry edit, which on the Sony device for some reason didn't work because it seems to have a different code for that, but with this app it did work. Also Solid Explorer, which has been my file explorer of choice, but since Solid Explorer Beta I use this one because this is the material version. It just looks way better, has the material design, and it's just the best file explorer you can use. Splashtop, this is a remote desktop control I use to get access to my PC from all of my devices. I use it on my iPad, I use it on every Android device. I just prefer it. A lot of people use another app, I'm not really sure how it's called right now. I have TeamViewer, but yeah, I prefer Splashtop since I use it for so many years already. Standby Touch is, if you see it, just an app that turns off my screen. That's the one I use actually on the home screen for a double tap. Then Super USU is for root. Titanium Backup, of course, everyone who has root should have Titanium Backup. XZ Recovery is the recovery tool that is present with this on this Sony device. For social, that's not there much, you wouldn't know. There's Docs, Dropbox, Feedly Reader. That was actually my feed reader for quite a while, but as you can see here, it just isn't super smooth, and that is not because of the device, because on some devices it is even way worse. So that was one reason I contacted the developer, but he never answered me, and I asked him if he could get that smooth, but since he didn't, I switched to another one, which I will get to later. Phoenix, of course, is a Twitter app, and you can already see my animations here on the scrolling. Aren't the originals one anymore, but I will get to that later. Gmail, of course, then we have Google Drive, Google+, Hangouts, IMDb, the calendar, contacts, news and weather. That, wait, actually, no, I can't just right now. Otherwise I would have even uninstalled it. Then we have Google Keep, Outlook. I have Outlook still on, but don't really use it anymore because replying on it was just a little bit odd. This is my feed reader of choice right now, Palaber. It works quite nice. It has only one smaller bug, and you couldn't notice it because there's not much to scroll, but whenever you refresh this timeline and the first attempt you want to scroll does lag a lot, and then it is smooth as you can see here. But it's just the one thing that I would like to get rid of, the first lag, but otherwise it's great because it has a readability option and it just works quite nice. So I'm really happy with this one. It works really great, and as you could already see here, it is also buttery smooth. Needs a little bit of time. My Wi-Fi up here isn't the best, as you can see here. Absolutely nice, customizable fonts and so on. Push bullet, of course, you know that. Smart Connect. Wait, actually, I have that double. Yeah, should get rid of one of them. SMS app. Then I have my phone. WhatsApp for short messaging. In Germany, that's just the one that gets used the most. Wikipedia and YouTube. For media, I have photos, the camera, Orange Squeezebox to control all my Squeezebox, which I only have one, but I also use it for all my video playback, my audio playback on my iPad and so on. Then there's Play Books, Play Music. Serious Guide is what I actually don't use that long. I just found it recently. I didn't even know such app exists, but this keeps track of all the TV shows I use, so I know when which one comes and so on. Yeah, it's definitely a great app. It did cost a little bit, but it was worth it. Shuttle, yeah, my music player of choice. Not that happy since the material update. It lags a lot and it's just not responsive anymore. Yeah, I wanted to contact the developer already because that, but yeah, still. Then that's the TV Guide app, video, Walkman and YouTube, nothing here. And here are the exposed settings because this is actually, I just yesterday installed it. It is a slightly modified stock ROM with exposed area on it, slightly optimized, and it is a bit smoother by Moonbreaker. And here are the modules I use. I use 20 megapixel superior auto, which allows me to use superior auto with 20 megapixels. Really nice, but I still have to actually try if the pictures are really much better or not. App settings, of course, that's the one module I would use if I would have only had one, because I can set the DPI for every app. And as you can see here, if you go quickly into it, I just really love this module. If you go here, you have options if you enable it to set your DPI, make it full screen, immersive and so on. So really a powerful app, really great. Gravity Box, I only used that for one reason, to get rid of my LED while charging, because when I used my LED while charging it was glowing, and at night and even with blocking mode it was a bit annoying. Volume steps gives me the option to get more steps for volumes. What I usually needed it for, or mostly, was to get more steps for music, because now I have 30 instead of 15. Because usually if you have only 15, there's one step always that's too loud and one that's too quiet. This is quite nice. And for notifications, I only set it to 5 instead of 7, because I don't need 7. What is there also? XLED is to control my LED, which notifications have which color. I usually did use Light Manager for that, but since Lollipop it didn't work anymore, so I had to use that module. Quite nice, but for some reason, because you can see the option, okay, yeah, there is an option to turn off, disable low battery, the charging ID and so on, but it didn't work, so that's why I had to actually use Gravity Box, because I don't use Gravity Box for anything else. Then of course the exposed installer. Then I use quiet hours, because I absolutely can't stand what they did here with the inbuilt one. Because since the newest update on Lollipop, at night it doesn't notify me anymore, but the LED is still working. A few people wanted this and said that's the way to do it, but I don't set my device to silent and not to notify me overnight that the freaking annoying LED wakes me up. So that's why I use that. It is just better because I can disable the LED. Then XUI mod, I only use it to get to these different animations. You have a lot of different ones, and I already did actually a video like more than a year ago that was called changing the Android animations or something like that. And then there's YouTube either way, I didn't actually activate it yet. So that is my Android setup actually. My apps, how I use it. I wanted to actually go a little bit deeper into all my gestures, but I think this would be overkill for this video, and I don't think most of the people will actually care about that, since I don't think this is the mainstream thing of using gestures. Because just so you can quickly see what I can do without going to the home screen. Here is access to my Twitter. Here is access to my browser. Here will be G+. If I now want to access Palabra, I have this gesture. If I want to access the Play Store, I have this one. Then there's here one to get, no, I changed that one recently. Here would be to go to my dictionary. So as you can see, I have pretty much a gesture up to set up to get access quickly to all the apps I use on a regular basis. Some are also here available. I don't really use that a lot because I have already a gesture for all of them. Because for example, Orange Squeeze is just a long press here on the side. Yeah, as you can see here, it did take a load a bit. So I have pretty much access to everything and don't really need anything of this. But I still have it set up just in case maybe the app fails or so. But that's pretty much my setup. So, okay, that's it. I hope you maybe got a few apps you didn't know of or a few tips. And why I did just activate the camera, I have no clue. Okay, bye.